Support the habit at patreon.com/doseofbuckley. Let's get into this one. I'm pretty confident that I've never bought a product or service based on the celebrity whose name or photo they've plastered all over the advertising. But people do. Reuters reports that McDonald's sales jumped 40% overall in 2021, much of that helped by the BTS meals, as opposed to their regular IBS meals. But anyway, turned out that having a K-pop group sell the exact same chicken nuggets they've always sold, just with a different sauce option, helped their business immensely. Signing Michael Jordan to endorse Nikes saved the company from going under, and 20 years after his retirement, they still sold $5.1 billion worth of shoes with his name on them last year alone. So, this is why companies do this, partner with well-known individuals to increase their own brand awareness. Which, on paper, I guess makes sense as to why Budweiser, the beer brand known worldwide as American Piss Water, and in America is best known as the cheapest option at the bar, teamed up with a social media influencer with 10 million followers on TikTok and nearly 2 million on Instagram. That influencer? Dylan Mulvaney. Dylan, a theater actor, got famous on TikTok for detailing her transition. So of course, that makes her a highly controversial figure. Which is too bad that people have to be bigots about her, because there's way more reasons to find her off-putting than that. I'm probably gonna get shit for this, but whatever. I can't stand Dylan Mulvaney. There's no way to describe her that doesn't make me sound like a 16-year-old girl, which makes me dislike her even more, but she's just so fucking extra. Watching one of her TikToks is like watching a tornado hit a fucking trailer park. All of her movement is hyper-exaggerated. She's way too happy. Like, I used to have this girl in my class who would say, "Good morning," every day at like 8 a.m., and I wanted the sun to swallow the planet. Man, now who's hyper-exaggerating, Buckley? And this isn't new. People go, "Oh, she does this because she's doing woman face. She's a parody of what she thinks women are." I don't know how okay this is to share, but Dylan was on The Price is Right in 2020 pre-transition, jumping around, collapsing on the floor, and dancing over winning a fucking foosball table. This isn't even normal behavior for winning a car. So that's why I don't like her, because she's happy and I'm miserable. But other people don't like her because she's one of those indoctrinating alphabet people they-thems. So, the impending backlash and boycott against Bud has produced some humorous moments. Let's start with the second most successful white rapper to ever come out of Michigan, Kid Rock. Kid Rock made a video of himself shooting cases of Bud Light with what appears to my cuck-nuck eyes as some sort of automatic weapon, completely missing most of them. Kind of embarrassing. But this was in response to the Dylan Mulvaney deal. This led to a photo circulating from 2003 of him drinking a Bud Light while apparently performing with a drag queen. Whoops. And he also then apparently endorsed a hard seltzer, very butch, called Happy Dad, which had previously been endorsed by... Oh, come on, take a guess. Yes, Caitlyn Jenner, a trans woman. But here's the thing. Kid Rock is upset about someone like Dylan Mulvaney pretending to be something they weren't born as to pander to a group of people? That is Kid Rock's entire career. His whole straight out the trailer gimmick is as authentic as Larry the Cable Guy's accent. Robert Ritchie, sorry if that's dead naming, was born in Michigan to affluent parents who owned multiple car dealerships, and he lived on an estate with horses. But he cares about authenticity. No, he cares about who he thinks will give him the most money. Although, so far, he hasn't been that successful grifting the right. His last album only sold 25,000 copies. Far cry from a platinum or gold record, but it might be enough for a paper record. Then we move on to Kevin Sorbo. The former Hercules star is now the slayer of the woke on Twitter. He replied to the news saying, "I've always preferred Busch Light anyways." Kevin, they're the same company! Anheuser-Busch owns Budweiser, Bud Light, Busch, Busch Light, as well as Corona, Shock Top, Stella Artois, Michelob, Beck's, Hoegaarden, Labatt's, Foster, Great Northern, and roughly 400 other brands of beer. I would bet many of these reactionaries like Kevin Sorbo ran out the day they saw the news that a she's now on the Bud Light can and bought another AB InBev brand. So, between Kid Rock giving them money to partially graze a few cans with his pop gun, and Kevin Sorbo announcing he supports the company in other ways, you can imagine how easy it was to believe this next story. A video started circulating with the caption, "Doing what needs to be done," showing a steamroller destroying beer cans. The left tweeted things like, LMAO, imagine buying hundreds of dollars of beer, renting a steamroller, and then posting your inability to crush the majority of the cans as some sort of service to America. While the right tweeted things like, OMG, patriots run a steamroller over woke Bud Light, watch! The guy who started this? A TikTok guy who calls himself Not Your Favorite Biker, who trolled everyone by just re-uploading some old news footage with a new caption to see who would take the bait. This footage is actually footage of beer being destroyed at the US-Mexican border, because during COVID, Mexican citizens would drive across to buy beer and bring it back due to a shortage down there. And in Mexico, it's illegal to import alcohol into the country without permits. You can't even bring a six-pack back. So they confiscated all this beer, and then they were like, well, we can't resell it and we can't drink it, so I guess we just gotta destroy it. Has nothing to do with the Bud Light bullshit. This happened months ago. But people who are so deep into this left versus right bullshit on both sides don't look into anything. They just immediately turn into Parappa the Rappa.
I gotta believe!
But here's the thing I don't get. Why are people upset about this? I found a few tweets like this. Bud Light should be an example for all corporations to stop playing off race, religion, sexuality, and just sell your product. And while I agree to some degree that corporations should just be neutral and not try and jump on any political bandwagon, beer marketing has always targeted sexual identities. It has! It's just that it's always targeted straight dudes. The hundreds, thousands of magazine ads, TV ads, billboards over the decades showing you beautiful women associated with beer. What did you think that was? That was the beer companies saying, hey, Straight Steve, we celebrate your straightness. And if you drink our beer, these are the hot women who might play with your drunk penis afterward. Since you're straight, we know you'd really enjoy that. But one time in 147 years, they go, you know, trans people's livers can also process our shitty beer. And people go, no, that was our beer for us, and they took it away from us. That was straight beer for straight people. I'm sure Bud Light has been available at gay bars for years. Do you think a gay dude's ever been offered one and went, Bud Light? Nah, you see the ads for that shit? That's a breeder beer. It's pretty weird to expect that every ad should target you, and anytime they don't, that is an attack against you. So, is this affecting their bottom line? Some are celebrating the fact that Anheuser-Busch has lost $5 billion since they went woke. Because yes, in a 5-day period, their stock dropped like $3 a share. Of course, since the beginning of the year, it's actually up $4 a share, and is actually up $20 a share from March 20, 2020. What happened there again? Oh yeah, all bars closed. Because that hurt them more. It's not the people who spend all their time indoors on Twitter not drinking their product. It's all the people who actually leave their homes once in a while not buying their product. And the people who actually go outside don't give a fuck about any of this nonsense. Because, as your hero Dave Chappelle once said, Twitter is not a real place. But both the left and the right have embarrassed themselves on there, so who's left? Oh, how about Anheuser-Busch themselves? A few days after all this nonsense, the CEO of Anheuser-Busch releases an apology? A statement anyway, waving the flag about how proud they are to be American. Company's been Belgian since 2008. How they care about sports fans, first responders, the military, and hard-working Americans. And how they never intended to be part of a discussion that divides people. We're sorry if we offended you by doing one Instagram post with a trans person. That's not what our beer's about. It's about bringing people together. Often through the windshield of a car after the drivers had 10 of them and drove home, slamming into a pedestrian along the way. So, Maybe it'll be too little too late, but I'm sure Budweiser will be back to putting beautiful cis women and straight couples in their advertising soon enough. And you can go, oh, finally, back to the good old days when they didn't have an agenda. Or maybe they should just keep featuring the horses. Because you don't have any sexual feelings about the horses, right? Right?